welcome to episode number 40 of the Fashion Feed podcast. Today is a solo episode because I have something very exciting to share, that I have been featured in the Delicate Rebellion magazine, and it's the first piece of in-person press that I've had that I can actually hold in my hands, which is really exciting. And it is a feature on how to get started with your fashion brand. So even if you've started already, but you just feel like you're not too sure what you're doing, perhaps, that's totally normal. Don't worry about that. But I just thought it might be nice to read it out loud on here and share with you the article. So it opens up with a double-page spread with Mrs. Stiles, but spelt wrong with a Y, like Harry Styles. Unfortunately, I'm not related to him. And it says, well, it's Mrs. Stiles actually, but that's Fate's typo, not mine, which is very cute. And it says, Elizabeth Stiles is fashion brand consultant working one-to-one with brands at every stage. With 10 years, well, I'm a little bit older now. With 10 plus years experience in the industry, she now works with purpose-driven independent brands to help them realise their vision and get them from ideas to wardrobes. Here she shares some useful whys, whats and what the fucks. It's very cute. And then it kind of launches into my article. So this is what I wrote. Firstly, why are you starting a fashion brand? Simon Sinek talked in that TED Talk about the power of why. Go on, give it a Google. Sure, it's verging on vintage, but has some absolute gems of wisdom amongst the wonky flip charts and bad lighting. Anyway, the two key points to take away are, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And therefore, number two, the aim is to sell to the people who believe what you believe. I'm going to read that bit again because it is honestly so important. I really want this to sink in, so grab a pen and paper if you can. The aim of your business is to sell to the people who believe what you believe. You know Barbara, right? Barbara has launched a t-shirt business because she couldn't find what she was looking for on the market. Do you care? No, because it's all about Barbara. And Karen next door. Karen is really passionate about animal welfare and has launched a t-shirt business which donates 10% of profits to a local kitten sanctuary. So whose t-shirt are you going to buy? I thought so. If you're also passionate about animal welfare, Karen has got you interested. Now you don't have to go all Mother Teresa on us, but take some time to consider what you're truly passionate about. Female equality? Okay, cool. Then why is that important to you? Cool. Recycling? Why do you care? Think about the subject that gets you on your soapbox down the pub. You know, the thing that makes your friends say, OMG, please don't get her started on that for fuck's sake. Well, boom. That is what you're passionate about. Here's a simple template that will help you nail your mission statement before you even start thinking about the product. I'm really passionate about X. You insert your passion there. So I create X, insert your product here, for X, insert your ideal customer here. Now I could ask you what age they are and where they are hanging out online, but I don't think that's necessarily helpful. Your ideal customer is the person who you'd melt into liquid gold if they wore your product and tagged you on Instagram. Who is that? It could be the cool girl you crush on at the gym, it could be a micro-influencer whose style you're obsessed with, or it could be Lizzo. Always Lizzo. From this moment forward, when you're designing, creating content, choosing packaging, everything, you need to consider if your Lizzo would like it. Ask yourself, would Lizzo wear this? Your whole world now centres around Lizzo, basically, as if it didn't already. Now, we need to nail that branding. It's one thing selling clothes online, but having a brand is a whole different ballgame. Your new mission statement will dictate what your brand is called and what it looks like aesthetically. If your brand is called Plastic Pink Princess and you're all about those organic materials and supporting cotton farmers, then it doesn't take Houston to see you've got a problem. Your mission statement should be the starting point for everything from sketching to selling. Number 1, get yourself over to Pinterest and set a timer for 15 minutes, and for the love of God, focus. Gold swan taps for your future mansion can wait. Number 2, pin things you truly represent. Number 2, pin things you feel truly represent your brand. You might start with a colour palette, a blogger image, a building, a sunset, a lipstick. Just start pinning things that you absolutely love. Number 3, timer's up. Analyse what you're left with. What's the vibe of your mood board? So fresh and so clean, or more of a 90s zigga-zigga? However it looks, try and stay consistent with that mood and tone across your website, your products, your Instagram, so that wherever someone finds you, they begin to recognise your brand. Designing. Put your scissors away, babe, because it's time for yet another mood board. This time we're going old school, paper, scissors and glue, because it's a great way to force you into getting specific with your vision. Put all your product specific inspo onto one page and then edit it back to 6 to 10 options. 6 to 10 is a really great number because you're showing conviction in your designs when launching, and equally it's achievable. Let's imagine we have 6 options. That doesn't have to be 6 different pieces. It could be one dress in 6 colours, one dress in 3 colours and 3 prints, or 3 tops and 3 skirts. When launching your first collection, you ideally want to work with just one factory. Sorry, I've not read out loud since I was about 15 in school. Let's start that again. When launching your first collection, you ideally want to work with just one factory, so it's worth knowing that every factory and garment maker specialise in different materials. For example, there are jersey, woven, denim and knit factories, so give a little thought to that when you're conceptualising and designing. Check out the previous episode of the Fashion Feed podcast. I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but I did do an excellent episode with a fabric sourcing industry expert, which basically ended up like a masterclass in all things textiles. If you're not confident on different kinds of fabric, then definitely give it a listen. Manufacturing. When it comes to quantities, I'd recommend going to a seamstress before going to a factory to make tens rather than hundreds. Yes, absolutely, the cost per unit will be higher, but it won't cost you more overall. Now, I want you to get your pen and paper down again. So comparing example A with example B. Example A, you buy 10 scrunchies at £2 each to sell at £4. This costs you £20 and you make 50% profit on each one. Example B, you buy 100 scrunchies at £1 each to sell at £4 each. This costs you £100 and you make 75% profit on each one. Example A costs less in total for you to get started, right? Don't fall into the trap of thinking when you buy more, it gets cheaper, because that's really not the case. It can be quite tricky to find a factory to help you make smaller quantities, but I do share some resources in my course, How to Start a Fashion Brand Online, to get started. I run it 3 to 4 times a year, and if you head to elizabethstiles.co.uk/early access, you can sign up to the waitlist to add your email address, and then you'll be the first to be notified of when it goes live again. Marketing. Marketing is basically having a conversation with your customer. It's shouting about what you do over and over and over and over again. Lots of my clients worry about annoying their customers, but that's actually really hard to do if you follow these tips. These conversations are such a vital part of building your brand, so much so that I'd recommend splitting your making and marketing time equally. Think 40% marketing, 40% making, 10% research and development, 10% admin. Gary Vaynerchuk is, albeit slightly obnoxious, a marketing expert. He has a great book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. The premise of it is that you have to be of service to your customer and as such provide 3 value posts to everyone selling your wares. Think of it like a magazine. If your magazine had all of the articles cut out and you were only left with the ads, would you buy it? No, I didn't think so. So let's go back to Barbara and Karen. Karen's Instagram feed would be hammered with sales posts like, new white t-shirt just launched and white t-shirt £25 today only, link in bio. Oh, I think we've got Barbara and Karen mixed up. Yes, that's Barbara saying that. Barbara's Instagram would be hammered with sales posts like, new white t-shirt just launched, white t-shirt £25 today only, link in bio, which is insanely annoying, right? If you just sell, it's a sure way to alienate your audience. Karen, on the other hand, shares mood boards, cute behind the scenes info. She also remembers to ask her community for input before finally pitching up with a thoughtful sales post. This organic white t-shirt is to help support the local kitten sanctuary where 10% of the profits are donated. Take at the shop via the link in bio. Yes, always provide 3 valuable posts before asking your audience to do anything. So some really great resources for you to check out is the #GirlBoss book by Sophia Amoruso. Despite the awful title, it really does give a brilliant insight into the first few years of launching a fashion brand online. The Multi-Hyphen Method by Emma Gannon. This book will go down in history as a symbol of why the idea of having one career should be left in the 90s. Shoe Dog by Phil Knight is the story of how Knight came about, a real insight into how persistence pays off in business. And then some podcasts to check out, obviously the BTS of fashion brands with industry experts from PR agents to photographers is the Fashion Feed. Thank you so much for listening. But some other really great podcasts are The Fashion Originators by Stephanie Owen. Stephanie knows her shit when it comes to fashion. Brilliant guests who are always doing something differently. And Imperfect Action by my friend Jane Hamill in Chicago. Jane is hilarious. She had her own fashion line for years and now helps independent brands make money online. And that is the article. I'm just so grateful to the Delicate Rebellion for asking me to do it. It's an amazing magazine and just so beautifully designed as well, with some really great artists. Some, even the layout of it is just completely different to any magazine I've ever seen before. So I'm very grateful to Hannah for letting me be a part of it. If you want to have your own copy of The Delicate Rebellion, I think you can head to their website, which is www.thedelicaterebellion.com, and my article is featured in issue 1 of 2020. So yeah, have a look at that. It's got a lady with a sheared dress on the front with some huge cacti behind her, which I can share as maybe the front cover image of this podcast. So thank you so much for listening. I really enjoyed reading that, even though I might have got my tongue twisted in certain areas. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please be so kind as to leave it a 5-star review and then a quick comment as to why you like it, or what you've learned from it, or what your favourite episode has been so far, or maybe you could even leave a comment to pitch to be on it. That would be fun. I'm always up for looking for new guests, so if you do want to be a part of it, then drop me a message in the reviews and I'll always take a look at them. And I'm very grateful because it also helps other fashion creatives discover this community of it's like a little corner of the fashion world that's just kind, useful and beneficial to independent businesses. So I will see you in a fortnight.